The Great Displacement. The crystal spires of New Shanghai trembled as another Cytheri warship passed overhead, its gravitational wake sending ripples through the city's remaining structures. Director Maya Patel stood at the window of the Earth Defense Council chamber, watching as the alien vessels systematically surrounded humanity's last major metropolis. Her dark eyes reflected the purple-tinged energy fields that had once protected their cities, now disabled by the collective's superior technology. "They're not here to destroy us," Maya announced to the gathered council members, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "The Cytheri could have done that months ago when they first breached our defenses at Mars. This is something else." Admiral James Chen, his uniform still bearing the scorch marks from the Battle of Deimos, pulled up a holographic display of the enemy fleet movements. Analysis suggests they're positioning for a mass transportation operation. But where would they take 7 billion humans? The answer came 3 hours later, when the Cytheri overseer materialized in the council chamber. The alien's crystalline form shifted colors as it spoke, its thoughts translated into human speech by advanced quantum processors. "Your species has demonstrated remarkable potential," the overseer's words echoed through the room. "But you advance too quickly, too recklessly. The collective has determined that humanity requires adjustment." Maya felt her fingers curl into fists. "Adjustment. Your entire population will be relocated to Proxima B. There, you will have the opportunity to develop at a more appropriate pace under our guidance." The council erupted in protests, but Maya raised her hand for silence. She had studied the Cytheri enough to know that their decisions, once made, were irreversible. The question now was how to turn this displacement into an advantage. "What resources will we be allowed to take?" she asked, ignoring the shocked looks from her colleagues. The overseer's crystalline form pulsed with what might have been approval. "Basic survival equipment, agricultural supplies, primitive power generation systems, nothing beyond technology level 3 on the collective scale." Maya nodded, her mind already racing through possibilities. The Cytheri's arrogance had always been their blind spot. They measured everything by their own standards, their own understanding of technology. But humans had always excelled at finding unexpected solutions. The evacuation began within days. Massive transport ships descended from orbit, their holds modified to carry hundreds of thousands of humans each. Maya worked tirelessly with her team to coordinate the migration, ensuring that key scientists, engineers, and innovators were strategically distributed among the transport groups. The Cytheri, focused on their efficient processes, never noticed the patterns in the passenger manifests. Dr. Sarah Wong, Earth's leading expert in quantum biology, found Maya in the temporary command center on the evening before the final transport was scheduled to depart. "Director, I've reviewed the data on Proxima B. The Cytheri think they're sending us to a primitive world, but the planet's unique magnetic field could have fascinating applications for biological computing." Maya smiled for the first time in weeks. "Document everything, but keep your insights quiet for now. We need the collective to believe we're struggling just to survive." The last transport day arrived with a red dawn over the ruins of New Shanghai. Maya stood with the remaining council members as they prepared to board, watching the sun rise over their soon-to-be-abandoned world. "They think they're containing us," Admiral Chen said quietly, "exiling us to some backwater planet where we can't threaten their dominion over the galaxy." Maya's response was interrupted by a sudden burst of activity in the sky above. A new Cytheri vessel, larger than any they'd seen before, descended through the clouds. Its crystalline surface seemed to absorb the morning light, creating an eclipse effect over the evacuation zone. The overseer appeared again, this time accompanied by several junior administrators. "The collective has decided that your transition requires additional supervision. I will personally oversee the establishment of your new colony on Proxima B." Maya met the alien's gaze, carefully maintaining a neutral expression. "We are grateful for your guidance," she said, even as her mind began calculating how to turn this development to humanity's advantage. The overseer's presence would make their work more challenging, but it would also provide an opportunity to study Zithari technology up close. As they boarded the final transport, Maya sent a coded message to her network of leaders scattered across the previous evacuations. It contained just 3 words: "Remember the Phoenixes." The massive ship broke orbit with a grace that belied its size. Through the viewport, Maya watched Earth grow smaller, its blue-green surface now scarred by the marks of recent conflict. But unlike many of her fellow passengers, she didn't weep. She knew that this wasn't an ending. It was a metamorphosis. The journey to Proxima b would take 3 weeks at the transport's current velocity. Maya spent that time moving through the ship's segregated passenger sections, memorizing faces and distributing subtle messages. The Zithari had allowed them to bring books, considering them harmless artifacts of a primitive information storage system. They didn't realize that humans had developed ways to encode complex technical specifications within seemingly innocent narratives. "They think they're writing the end of our story," Maya told a group of young engineers gathered in one of the ship's common areas. "But they've just given us a blank page, and humanity has always been good at writing its own destiny." As the transport approached Proxima b, the planet's harsh red sun cast an otherworldly glow through the ship's viewports. The surface below looked uninviting, rocky terrain swept by constant magnetic storms. But Maya saw something different. She saw possibility. The overseer's voice echoed through the ship's communication systems. "Welcome to your new home. Here, under our guidance, humanity will learn to develop at an acceptable pace." Maya exchanged knowing looks with Dr. Wong and Admiral Chen. The Zithari had made a crucial mistake. They had taken a species known for its adaptability and placed it in an environment that would force innovation. They had given humanity exactly what it needed: a challenge. As the transport began its descent through Proxima b's turbulent atmosphere, Maya pulled out her personal tablet, one of the few pieces of technology the Zithari had allowed her to keep. On it, she began composing a message that would eventually reach every human settlement on their new world. "They think they've contained us, limited us, but they've forgotten what humans do best. We adapt, we innovate, we overcome. Today isn't the day humanity was exiled. Today is the day we begin building something greater than anything we left behind. Welcome to our new beginning." The transport's landing gear engaged, touching down on the rocky surface of Proxima b. A new chapter in human history was about to begin, and despite everything, Maya couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement. The Zithari thought they were writing humanity's epitaph. Instead, they had just handed them the keys to their own revolution. Seeds of innovation. 6 months into their exile on Proxima b, the human settlements had taken on an appearance that satisfied their Zithari observers. Crude dwellings dotted the rocky landscape, connected by sealed corridors that protected their inhabitants from the planet's harsh magnetic storms. To the untrained eye, it looked exactly like what the collective had intended: a struggling civilization reduced to basic survival. Below the surface, however, a different story was unfolding. Dr. Sarah Wong stood in her underground laboratory, examining the latest results from her quantum biology experiments. The crystalline formations they'd discovered in Proxima b's deeper cave systems had properties that defied conventional physics. When exposed to the planet's unique magnetic field, the crystals exhibited quantum entanglement patterns that could be influenced by biological material. "Director Patel needs to see this," Sarah muttered, carefully documenting her findings in the old-fashioned paper journal she kept for exactly this purpose. The Zithari never bothered to monitor such primitive record-keeping methods. In another section of the underground complex, Admiral Chen had established what appeared to be a simple hydroponics facility. The overseer had even commended them for this appropriate use of their limited technology. What the Zithari didn't realize was that the carefully arranged plants were actually part of a sophisticated communication network. Through careful genetic modification and exploitation of the planet's magnetic field, they had created a biological quantum network. Information could be transmitted instantly across vast distances, carried by the very roots that supposedly just provided food for the colonies. Maya Patel arrived in Sarah's lab through one of the many hidden passages that honeycombed the settlement. "Show me," she said without preamble, her eyes bright with the same intensity that had marked her leadership during the evacuation. Sarah activated a sealed chamber containing one of the crystal specimens. "Watch what happens when I introduce human neural tissue." She placed a small sample near the crystal, and the entire formation began to pulse with bioluminescent patterns. "The crystals aren't just responding to the tissue," Sarah explained. "They're creating a quantum interface with it. We've already successfully transferred complex data patterns through this interface. With refinement, we could develop computing systems that merge biological and quantum processes." Maya's expression remained carefully neutral, but her eyes betrayed her excitement. "And the Zithari? Their sensors aren't calibrated to detect this kind of interaction. To them, these are just pretty rocks that our primitive minds are attracted to." The development wasn't isolated. Throughout the settlement, similar breakthroughs were occurring with remarkable frequency. The harsh conditions of Proxima b, rather than limiting human innovation, had forced them to think in entirely new ways. In what the colonists called the deep labs, Dr. Victor Rossi had made an equally stunning discovery. The constant magnetic storms that ravaged the planet's surface could be harnessed. His team had developed crystalline organic hybrid collectors that absorbed the storm energy and converted it into a form of power that exceeded anything humanity had achieved on Earth. "The storms aren't just providing energy," Victor explained during a secure council meeting. "They're creating quantum fluctuations that we can manipulate. The Zithari gave us exactly what we needed without realizing it." Maya studied the reports from various research teams, each carefully disguised as mundane survival logs. The overseer, true to their word, maintained regular inspections of the colony. But the aliens' attention was focused on ensuring humans weren't advancing too quickly in ways the collective understood. They never thought to look for advancement in directions they hadn't imagined. "How soon until we can begin Phase 2? Maya asked during a private meeting with her core team. Admiral Chen pulled up a holographic display, projected from what appeared to be a simple water purification unit. "The network is nearly complete. We can communicate with all major settlements without detection. Dr. Wang's crystal interfaces are ready for implementation, and Rossi's power systems are operational." Sarah added, "The real question is whether we're ready for the biological integration phase. We're talking about fundamentally changing human capabilities." Maya walked to one of the rough-hewn walls of the chamber, placing her hand against the cool rock. "The Zithari thought they were limiting us by taking away our technology. Instead, they forced us to become something new. Proceed with the integration trials." The next 3 months saw careful, calculated progress. On the surface, the colonies continued to display appropriate signs of struggling development. Underground, humanity was transforming itself. The first successful integration of the crystal organic interface with human neural tissue occurred in a heavily shielded chamber deep beneath the primary settlement. The volunteer, a young engineer named Michael Chang, opened his eyes after the procedure, and for the first time in human history, a mind connected directly with quantum processes. "It's beautiful," he whispered, tears streaming down his face. "I can see the patterns in everything. The way the magnetic fields flow, the quantum dance of particles. It's like having a new sense." The implications were staggering. With the crystal interface, humans could process information at quantum speeds, communicate instantly across vast distances, and perceive reality in ways the Zithari had never imagined. But Maya insisted on caution. "We proceed slowly, carefully. Let the overseer continue to think we're barely managing to survive. Every inspection where they underestimate us is another advantage we gain." The transformation of humanity continued in secret. Each new breakthrough was carefully hidden beneath a veneer of primitive struggle. The Zithari's regular reports to the collective told a story of the species properly contained, developing at an acceptable pace. They never noticed how the human's eyes had begun to shimmer with subtle crystalline patterns, or how their movements had taken on an almost supernatural grace as their neural networks merged with quantum fields. They didn't realize that every storm that ravaged the surface was feeding power into systems they couldn't comprehend. 1 year into their exile, Maya stood in a secret chamber that even most of the colonists didn't know existed. Before her, a vast crystalline structure pulsed with bioluminescent light, its patterns reflecting the quantum computations occurring within its lattice. "Begin the final phase," she ordered, her own crystal-enhanced mind connecting directly with the colony's hidden networks. "It's time to show the galaxy what humanity can really become." The Zithari had meant to contain humanity. Instead, they had created the perfect conditions for human transcendence. As Maya looked out over her transformed civilization, she smiled, knowing that the real revolution was just beginning. The silent revolution. The Zithari overseer's crystalline form shimmered with satisfaction as they completed their quarterly inspection of the human settlement. Everything appeared exactly as it should. Primitive dwellings, basic power systems, and humans struggling to adapt to their harsh environment. But beneath their feet, in chambers shielded by technologies beyond their comprehension, humanity's greatest achievement was taking shape. Maya Patel stood in the central nexus of their quantum network, her enhanced consciousness flowing through channels of crystalline organic interfaces. Through this vast web, she could connect with every enhanced human on Proxima b, their shared thoughts and innovations moving at quantum speeds. "The collective has approved our request for additional basic materials," she announced to the gathered council, her voice carrying both sound and quantum data. "They believe we're using them to reinforce our environmental shields." Admiral Chen, his own crystalline implants gleaming subtly beneath his skin, displayed a holographic map of known space. "Our deep space quantum probes have mapped 17 other human exile colonies. The Zithari separated us thinking isolation would prevent cooperation. They don't realize we've never been more connected." The quantum network they'd developed had capabilities that bordered on the miraculous. Through the crystalline organic interfaces, enhanced humans could project their consciousness across vast distances, sharing knowledge and experiences instantaneously. What started as a simple communication system had evolved into a form of collective intelligence that preserved individual identity while allowing unprecedented collaboration. Dr. Sarah Wong manipulated a series of complex biological simulations with mere thoughts. The integration process has been successfully tested across all age groups. We can now safely enhance any human who chooses to join the network. But more importantly, we've discovered something unexpected. The holographic display shifted, showing detailed scans of enhanced human DNA. The crystal integration isn't just changing us at a neural level. It's accelerating our evolution. Each generation born here shows increasing affinity for quantum processes. We're becoming something new. Maya absorbed this information through both traditional and quantum channels. And the Zithari remain blind to all of it. Their understanding of technology is remarkably linear, Victor Rossi explained, his consciousness joining the discussion from a research facility on the other side of the planet. They look for advancement in terms of machines, energy signatures, computational systems. The biological quantum hybrid technology we've developed simply doesn't register on their instruments. The implications were staggering. While the collective congratulated themselves on successfully containing humanity, their former prisoners were transcending the very boundaries of human potential. But challenges remained. A junior scientist burst into the chamber, her quantum signature pulsing with urgency. "Director Patel, we've detected a collective survey ship approaching the Centauri colony. They're using new scanning technology." Maya's enhanced mind quickly processed the potential threats and opportunities. "Begin Protocol Omega. Alert all settlements." Throughout the underground network, humans moved with practiced precision. Advanced technology was concealed behind false walls of living crystal that mimicked natural formations, Enhanced humans adjusted their quantum signatures to appear as normal biological entities. Within minutes, the settlement appeared exactly as the Zithari expected it to. The survey ship passed without incident, its new scanners detecting nothing unusual. But the close call highlighted the need to accelerate their plans. "We can't remain hidden forever," Admiral Chen noted during the following council session. "Sooner or later, they'll develop technology that can detect our advancements." Maya interfaced directly with the quantum network, her consciousness expanding to encompass the full scope of human achievement on Proxima b. "Then we make our move before that happens." Initialize Project Phoenix. Project Phoenix had been in development since their first year of exile. Using their mastery of quantum biological technology, they had begun constructing something unprecedented, a living ship grown from the same crystalline organic material that had transformed their civilization. Deep beneath the surface of Proxima b, in a cavern large enough to house a small city, the ship took shape. Unlike traditional spacecraft, it was a fully conscious entity, its quantum-enhanced systems capable of interpreting and responding to the thoughts of its crew. Its hull, composed of living crystal, could adapt to any environment, while its hybrid quantum drive could traverse vast distances through methods the Zithari hadn't imagined possible. "The prototype is ready for testing," Victor announced, his consciousness merged with the ship's systems. "Initial simulations suggest it can outperform any known collective vessel." But Maya knew that military superiority alone wouldn't be enough. The Zithari had to be confronted with not just humanity's power, but their potential. The quantum network had given them insight into the fundamental nature of consciousness itself, revealing possibilities that transcended traditional concepts of existence. "Begin the final phase of integration," she ordered. "It's time for humanity to share what we've learned with the galaxy." Across Proxima b, and secretly throughout other exile colonies, humans prepared for the moment of revelation. Their enhanced bodies housed minds that could span light years, while their quantum technology had evolved beyond the need for physical infrastructure. The Zithari had meant to humble humanity, to force them down a path of slow, controlled development. Instead, they had created the perfect conditions for an evolutionary leap. As Maya looked out over their hidden civilization, she knew that the galaxy was about to change forever. In the quantum network, a countdown began. Soon, the collective would learn that humanity had not just survived their exile, they had transcended it. And in doing so, they had discovered truths about the universe that would reshape the very foundations of galactic civilization. Threads of resistance. A Zithari patrol ship vanished near the Rigel system. 3 days later, another disappeared in the Vega sector. The collective's investigation found no wreckage, no energy signatures, no evidence of what had happened to their vessels. It was as if they had simply ceased to exist. In the quantum network linking humanity's scattered colonies, Maya Patel watched the collective's confusion with grim satisfaction. The living ships they developed didn't destroy their targets. They transformed them, converting matter into quantum-entangled energy that could be reconstructed at will. "The Zithari are increasing patrols across all exile colonies," Admiral Chen reported, his consciousness merging with the network's vast intelligence. "They suspect something, but they can't understand what they're looking for." Maya's enhanced mind processed data streams from thousands of sources simultaneously. Through the quantum network, she could see the movements of every collective vessel, the thoughts of every enhanced human, the pulse of energy flowing through their hidden civilization. "Show me the Phoenix Fleet's status." A three-dimensional map materialized in the command center, displaying the positions of humanity's secret armada. The living ships, each one a conscious entity bonded to its crew, had been strategically positioned throughout known space. They appeared as quantum ghosts, invisible to conventional sensors. Dr. Sarah Wong's consciousness joined the network briefing. "The latest generation of enhanced humans has exceeded our projections. Children born on Proxima b naturally interface with quantum fields. They don't just use the technology, they're becoming one with it." This development had accelerated their timeline. The collective's rigid understanding of evolution and progress had left them blind to the transformation taking place within their carefully controlled exile colonies. Humanity wasn't just developing new technology. They were becoming something that transcended traditional definitions of existence. "Begin Phase 4, Maya commanded. Throughout the quantum network, minds shifted in response, implementing plans that had been years in preparation. On colonies across the galaxy, enhanced humans began awakening their dormant potential. The collective had scattered humanity across distant worlds, thinking distance would keep them isolated. Instead, they had created perfect conditions for humanity's quantum consciousness to spread. The first overt act of resistance came at the Centauri colony. When a Zithari inspection team arrived for their routine check, they found their crystalline forms suddenly responsive to human thought. The quantum organic technology that humanity had mastered could interface with the very substance of Zithari biology. "We've been watching you." Maya's consciousness projected directly into the aliens' crystalline minds. Learning, understanding, evolving. The Zithari inspection team's panic rippled through the collective's network. For the first time in their history, they encountered beings who could breach their supposedly impenetrable mental defenses. Admiral Chen coordinated the synchronized revelation across all human colonies. As Zithari observers watched in horror, their carefully contained human settlements transformed. The primitive structures dissolved, revealing cities of living crystal that pulsed with quantum energy. Humans walked through solid walls, their bodies shifting between physical and quantum states at will. "You thought you were imprisoning us." Maya's voice echoed through every Zithari consciousness in range. "Instead, you gave us the laboratory we needed to transcend our limitations." The collective's response was predictably rigid. They dispatched battle fleets to every human colony, determined to contain what they saw as a dangerous contamination of their ordered universe. But their ships found themselves engaged in a battle they couldn't comprehend. The Phoenix fleet emerged from quantum space, their living hulls adapting and evolving in real-time response to Zithari weapons. Traditional energy weapons passed harmlessly through ships that could shift their matter into quantum states. Conventional shields proved useless against attacks that manifested simultaneously across multiple quantum realities. "The collective's leadership is gathering for an emergency council," Admiral Chen reported, his consciousness tracking multiple battles simultaneously. "They're beginning to realize the full scope of what they're facing." Maya interfaced directly with the flagship of the Phoenix fleet, a vessel that had evolved far beyond its original design. Through its quantum sensors, she could perceive the fundamental patterns of reality itself. The Zithari's mighty civilization, for all its apparent advancement, was built on a limited understanding of the universe's true nature. "Send the message," she commanded. Throughout human space, quantum transmitters activated. The crystalline organic hybrid technology they developed could transmit not just information, but consciousness itself across vast distances. Every Zithari in the galaxy would receive their declaration. "We offer you a choice." Maya's thoughts echoed through the crystalline networks of Zithari civilization. "Continue this futile attempt to contain us, or open your minds to what we've discovered. Humanity has found pathways of existence your science never imagined. We offer to share this knowledge, to help your species transcend its own limitations." In the quantum network, human consciousness surged with shared purpose. They had not merely survived their exile. They had used it to unlock the next stage of cosmic evolution. Now they would either guide the Zithari toward that same transcendence or demonstrate the futility of resisting it. As Maya watched the collective's leaders struggle with their response, she knew that the galaxy's future hung in balance. Humanity had become something beyond what either side had imagined possible. The only question was whether the Zithari would choose to evolve with them or fade into obsolescence. Dawn of the new era. The great crystalline spires of the collective's capital world shimmered with unusual patterns as the Zithari High Council convened their emergency session. For the first time in their species' history, they faced a force that didn't just challenge their supremacy. It challenged their understanding of existence itself. Maya Patel's consciousness spanned the galaxy through the quantum network, observing the proceedings through countless enhanced human minds. The Phoenix fleet held position in quantum space, their living ships ready to manifest in any reality at a moment's notice. They fear us. Admiral Chen's thoughts rippled through the network, not because of our weapons, but because we represent something they can't categorize or control. The Zitheri High Council's debate echoed through their crystalline communication networks, inadvertently broadcasting their fears to every enhanced human in range. Their carefully ordered universe, built on predictable technological progression and controlled evolution, had been shattered by humanity's quantum transcendence. Dr. Sarah Wong's consciousness joined the observation, her thoughts tinged with scientific fascination. They're beginning to realize that their own crystalline nature has potential they never imagined. Some of them are already attempting to replicate our quantum integration processes. Maya had expected this. The Zitheri's rigid dedication to order and control had always been both their greatest strength and their fatal weakness. When confronted with a paradigm that defied their understanding, they could either adapt or face obsolescence. The first breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A young Zitheri scientist, observing the quantum signatures of enhanced humans, experienced a spontaneous awakening. Their crystalline form began resonating with the same quantum frequencies that humanity had mastered, creating a bridge between the two species' consciousness. Through this connection, the true scope of humanity's achievement became clear to the collective. They saw not just the technological advancement, but the fundamental transformation of what it meant to be conscious beings in the universe. We offer you partnership, Maya projected through the quantum bridge, her thoughts reaching every member of the High Council. Not submission, not control, but mutual evolution. The Phoenix fleet shifted in quantum space, their living ships manifesting briefly in normal space as a demonstration. The Zitheri watched in awe as vessels composed of consciousness and quantum energy danced through dimensions their science had never detected. Your species sought to control evolution. Maya continued, her consciousness expanding to encompass the full scope of human achievement. We learned to embrace it. The universe is not a hierarchy to be managed, but a web of infinite potential waiting to be explored. Throughout human space, the hidden cities of living crystal emerged from their camouflage. On every world where humanity had been exiled, new forms of existence had taken root. Enhanced humans shifted between physical and quantum states, their consciousness flowing through networks that transcended traditional spacetime. The Zitheri High Council's resistance crumbled in the face of this revelation. Their own population, inspired by humanity's example, had begun to explore the quantum potential locked within their crystalline forms. The rigid boundaries between species and states of existence were dissolving. We accept your offer. The High Council's collective consciousness resonated through the quantum network. Guide us toward this transcendence. Maya initiated the final phase of humanity's emergence. Throughout the galaxy, quantum corridors opened between all human settlements and major Zitheri worlds. The technology that had been developed in secret during their exile would now serve as the foundation for a new era of galactic civilization. Begin the integration protocols, she commanded. Teams of enhanced humans, their bodies and minds evolved beyond their original limits, began working with receptive Zitheri to unlock their quantum potential. Dr. Wong led the scientific exchange, sharing the discoveries that had transformed humanity. Your crystalline nature makes you uniquely suited for quantum integration, she explained to eager Zitheri scientists. You've always had this potential. You just needed to learn to see beyond the boundaries of conventional physics. The transformation of galactic society happened faster than anyone had anticipated. The Zitheri's natural affinity for crystalline structures, combined with humanity's mastery of quantum biological integration, led to breakthroughs that neither species could have achieved alone. Cities across the galaxy evolved into living entities, their structures shifting between physical and quantum states according to the needs of their inhabitants. The rigid hierarchy of the collective dissolved, replaced by a dynamic network of consciousness that spanned dimensions. 5 years after humanity's revelation, Maya stood in a chamber that existed simultaneously in quantum space and physical reality. Around her, representatives of both species worked together, their enhanced minds exploring realms of existence that defied traditional understanding. "We've received signals from beyond the galactic barrier," Admiral Chen reported, his consciousness merging with the quantum network. "Other civilizations are detecting our transformation. They're reaching out, seeking to understand what we've become." Maya smiled, her enhanced perception taking in the full scope of their achievement. The Zithari had meant to contain humanity's evolution, to force them down a predetermined path. Instead, they had created the perfect conditions for a leap in cosmic consciousness. "Prepare a welcome message," she commanded. "Tell them that the age of isolation is over. The galaxy is ready for true evolution." Through the vast quantum network that now connected all advanced life in the galaxy, Maya could sense the ripples of change spreading outward. Humanity had not merely survived their exile. They had used it to unlock the next stage of universal consciousness. And now, with their former oppressors as allies, they would guide the galaxy toward a future that none had imagined possible. The stars themselves seemed to pulse with new energy as quantum consciousness spread through the cosmos. The era of limited physical existence was ending. The dawn of true universal transcendence had begun.